We are a pair. Things have gone very wrong today, but we're here. We're here anyway, and we've
we'll
got a
swing
few
it
things to
as we
talk.
go.
Yeah, we will. We've got a few things to talk about anyway. We thought we'd jump on. Anybody that fancies jumping in with us, by the way, more than welcome to do so. Because it'd be good to just get some more perspectives, basically. But yeah, first episode on camera. We have actually done 6 episodes before. 6 episodes? Was it 6 episodes we did before this?
6 episodes on Twix.
So,
and one YouTube try.
Yes, we did do one on my channel before, didn't we? Just me and you as well. So, yeah. It's been Galaxy Unpacked week, and there's much to talk about there. Some good, some not so good. And we've all bought pixels, so that's been the week. It's been quite interesting.
Yeah, we can actually start from a old joke like rolling out third year. We have the Galaxy S24 Ultra in here.
There it is.
Actually,
exclusive.
It's S23, but you wouldn't be able to tell.
I mean, it could have been an S22 Ultra.
Could have
been an S22 Ultra, and you still wouldn't be able to tell. But you know, I mean, we can't really criticize Samsung that much because Apple are doing it as well.
I believe that helps them reuse the design. Most of the brands is doing the same right now. Even actually, just like two years back, all the Chinese and Korean brands were like having a race who will change their design the most year by year. But if you take a look at it right now, Vivo is basically continuing their design language this year. Oppo is doing the same. So I guess that they all just decided that it's good to stick with what works, especially if it is a good design. And actually, I would like to see some change in Samsung, but I like this design a lot, and I'm not angry that it is almost the same this year.
You're quite the fan of it. You do like that big boxy design. You've mentioned it quite a few times. We've got YouTube Music in the chat. We've got Barry Johnson, the Barry Johnson. Yes, we are all Pixel users.
Yes, we are.
We are. There we go. Ooh. So, are you going to get the S24 Ultra? I'm just going to put you on the spot because we spoke a little bit about this earlier. I know I am getting it. I'm going to be pre-ordering it soon.
I would lie if I would say that I'm not going to try it at one point, but surely I'm not going to pre-order it right now.
Okay.
And maybe I'll wait for a few months for the software to stabilize a bit, because it's always like April/May/June. It's always a time for a major software update for both the phone itself and the cameras in Samsung. So I will probably wait till then, and it can go both ways because we've chatted about this a little in the past. S23 Ultra was camera-wise was, in my opinion, doing better right after release than a few months later on. So I think that waiting a few months for a quick review might be a good idea with Samsung to get like the real opinions about the phone right now. But yeah, I'll just want to go back to something that you've said before about me liking this boxy design. I have to say that I'm a guy with big hands. I have really big hands, and
mine are pretty big too. But I have to say, you do have bloody big hands. But you are a bloody big person at the same time. So as in tall. I'm not saying you're that way.
Yeah,
like
every way.
and tall.
But yeah, I have to say that the size isn't an issue for me at all, and I prefer the box. I even prefer the boxy design, and I like how my little finger can like serve as a holding place for the phone. I'm so used to using it like that, and it like fits. And the best part of the boxy design is the fact that Windows phone launchers are working so well. It's so so good to for the tiles to work on this boxy screen. It's like perfect for Windows phone launchers. So that's also why I like it.
Yeah, you do run the Windows Phone launcher. I keep meaning to set it up. I think when I get the S24 Ultra, I might actually do that. Just for a heads up for those in the chat, yes, we are streaming on 2 different YouTube channels. We're also streaming on X.
Yes.
So, preferably if you guys can come over to the Bunch of Phonies YouTube channel. It's brand new. Obviously, this is the first episode. The link is there in the chat.
Yes.
Like the stream, subscribe, and support us there as much as you can, because it's not going to be streamed on my channel going into future. It's just going to be for the first couple of episodes, probably, just to sort of let you guys know where we're going to be,
Yep.
just to help sort of boost that up a little bit. But yeah,
We
we're
will
there
end up
and we're
in
on
here.
X. Yeah, this is the channel to be on. So if you can jump over, that would be bloody lovely.
Bloody legends.
Bloody lovely.
Yeah.
So you say you're not looking at getting the S24 Ultra soon,
Not yet.
but there are some pretty good pre-order deals.
I know, but those pre-order deals are like a knife that cut both ways, because you can get like a bunch of freebies with the phone, which is cool. But so many people is like getting them that the value, the price is like hiking down a lot. And if you think that, for example, for the Galaxy Watch 6, you'll be able to get like, I don't know, I'm just pulling this out of my hat right now,
So you're gonna say
£200,
something else
right?
then?
Yeah, I was. But yeah, for example, you would like
Too
to
well
get
behaved.
£200, you won't be able to, at least after just a few weeks, the value will tank down. So it's not as good for the value of those freebies, which is one thing, and the other is that the price of the device itself is also tanking down because of this. And it's good to have freebies. I mean, I had enough luck, like for maybe 2 years, to be able to like juggle those freebies and those promotions and not really have to pay much more than I am currently selling the device that I own to keep up with stuff right now. So that's good. But yeah, it has a negative effect on the value. Just like look at Apple, right? There are no promotions on Apple almost at all. There are no freebies, and the device is holding its value much better than Android devices. And I believe that this is one of the reasons. But yeah, I will try it at some point, but not right now. But actually, seeing like a few initial reactions, I'm quite intrigued. Especially when it comes to camera performance and the post processing that we can see put out on Twitter mainly. But like I said, it's too soon to tell right now.
I saw Jermaine earlier with this on Twix. The fact that he could have got the Vivo instead. He could have got the X100 Pro, and I know for a fact that he loves Vivos and he really wants that phone, and he's forced himself into getting the S24 Ultra.
He took one for the team.
he took one for the team. Yeah, he's helping out people on the interwebs, getting those views. And it'd be interesting. I'm actually interested to see how he gets on with it, because I know he's very obviously he's very camera focused. That's the whole point of his channel now. There's some very good stuff on there. His Xperia videos recently was very good as well. And yeah, I'm interested to see how he gets on with it, and hopefully he'll throw a couple of comparisons in there as well. It'd be nice. But
I'm waiting.
Yeah, I'm also taking one for the team, because I wanted to get my Xperia back, and I am not. I'm getting the S24 Ultra. So,
but you're trading in your iPhone, so that's kind of a bliss.
Well, yeah, all right. Jermaine's paying outright for it. I'm not, but like, mine is my contract, but I still have to wait another 3 months before I can change it out. So
I know.
That means like with the iPhone, which I've now had for 3 months. It's already 3 months. My God.
Isn't it
Um,
longer?
no,
Okay.
I got it.
I thought
Well,
it might be
just before
longer.
EGX, so it's just over 3 months. Yeah.
Okay.
I took one for the team on that one as well.
Yeah.
I could have got this bad boy much earlier if I'd have not opted for the iPhone. But I think it's good to try different devices just to sort of get an
Yeah.
idea of how the field is, and gives you a bit more perspective on the devices that
Totally.
you actually like as well. Allows you to sort of explain things a little bit better. So I will be getting the purple, or the violet as they call it. Is it violet? Violet.
I have no idea. Those colors are
Whatever
so
it's
washed
called.
out. Are so washed out that I would actually just go with the basic titanium option.
I saw a picture from, I don't know if it was Joe that posted it or somebody to do with the Snapdragon crew that went to the Unpacked event, but the purple actually looked really purple in this photo. I was like, whoa, okay.
Really?
Like in a lot of the photos, it looks really, really washed out,
Hmm.
but it looked really good. It looked really nice. So that's the one I'm going to go for and just sort of see what happens. You know,
Yeah. I have.
Joe's maybe slightly biased now. I think Joe's slightly biased. It's beautiful, mate. You won't regret it. I will hold you to that.
I have something for bright devices. That's a theme for me. I prefer like
You like your
white
white
or
phones, don't you?
yeah.
You go white. To be fair, I often go white. I often go white. I've got my iPhone in white as well.
You do.
Yeah, I do. Look, it's there. Look, it's actually really nice. I actually quite like the iPhone in white.
Hmm.
It's pretty slick. Man, we've got the chat popping at the minute. I can't keep up
Yes,
with it all. My gosh, we got Me Tech in the
Michael.
chat. We've got Michael Pepper Tech.
Yes,
We missed anyone else? Got Mal in there as well. Hello, Mal. Holy hell!
Michael. I'm going to be trading in my S23 Plus for the S23 for Ultra. That's a nice swap. Just working on
That's not
getting the
bad.
rest of the funds together. Yeah. I have cases coming in. Yeah, that's the usual case of us getting cases before we even have the phone.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
about the S23 Plus and S24 Plus, also something that we've already talked about for a bit. I think that this might have been like a saving of the S24 Ultra sales, but if Samsung would take the S24 Plus and swap out the 10 megapixel X3 for this new 50 megapixel X5, this would be a killer device. I mean, 6.7-inch screen, which is like a basic flagship screen size right now, flat edges, flat screen, three kind of good cameras. It would be really great device, but like I said before, I think it would undermine the Ultra because not a lot of
Probably.
people is buying the Ultra for the S
It's
Pen.
very similar. Otherwise, like
Yeah,
screen resolution, charging
yeah.
speeds,
Screen
battery
resolution
size.
also
Battery
in that.
size is
Yeah,
probably very similar as well. I can't quite remember what it is on the Plus, but I honestly,
yeah.
I mean, obviously we've got XNLs to deal with, but XNLs by the looks of things isn't turning out too bad. I mean, for my kind of use, I mean, if I'm finding a Tensor G3 to be perfectly fine, there's a very good chance that I would find the XNLs to be fine.
I would be very interested in your opinion because I remember having the S22 Ultra with Exynos 2200 and it was a disaster. And I'm
It
not
wasn't a
even
very
talking.
good. It wasn't a
Yeah,
good
I'm
year.
not even talking about like the power because the raw power is one thing, but the battery efficiency was terrible. 4 hours of screen on time, 4.5 maybe. I remember being on a vacation with this phone, and when I went like out to take some photos, I needed to charge it 3 or 4 times a day, which was crazy. It wasn't overheating per se, but I had it in a leather case, so I just didn't care. But
Mm.
I have to say that the biggest downside um, was like twofold. One thing was the lack of smoothness of the OS. It was constantly crunching. I mean, even
Hmm.
changing from light mode to dark mode was too much for this phone.
I
It
was the same
constantly dropped frames.
on the base S22.
Yeah,
I found it a little bit choppy, even in just basic navigation, like
yeah,
swiping away
exactly.
apps and things, and
When
it would sort of stick and stutter a little bit. And to be fair, that's something that I feel is more. I still feel like One UI is quite heavy compared to a lot of skins, and
it it is,
I still
it
think
is,
it's a bit when they have an Exynos paired with it. Generally, it was more of a problem. It was more of a
it
problem.
is, it is. But that's only one side of it. There's the other one, which I think is really the bigger problem. But let me just add something to what you've said. At the same time, I had the S22 Ultra on Exynos and the Z Fold 4, which was on Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1.
It was
And
so good.
the way that one UI worked on one device and on another was uncomparable. It was a
Honestly, on the Z
pleasure.
Fold 4, it was amazing.
It
It
was
was so
amazing.
smooth. Like it's the best
Yeah,
Samsung device I've used. Like just
and
hands down.
this is kind of funny because I was going to keep the Fold and trade in the S22 Ultra, but when I saw how well this OS and those devices can work with a proper SoC, I've decided that I was so angry at Samsung that I've like sold both. I mean, I've returned the Z Fold 4 and I sold the S22 Ultra. And but talking about the other thing is that sadly Exynos is an afterthought.
Yeah,
And it's really sad because the chip itself isn't so bad, but it's very badly optimized both from Samsung, which you can see on the operating system by just like cycling through apps and swiping. But the other thing is like external developer support. I remember, which was like kind of crazy. I had the Exynos in S22 Ultra, and for the first few weeks when Diablo Immortal launched, it wasn't even playable. There were so many artifacts on the screen that you couldn't even play. After they fixed it, it's like 3 or 4 weeks for the
it's
flagship
crazy.
device, 2 months after launch. There was a cap for low settings and low resolution, and it didn't. It never
Yeah.
changed. They kept it. You could only play low resolution and low detail, medium details with low resolution, and higher resolution with low details. And I was shocked because at the same time I was also borrowing the Pixel 6 Pro for a while, which had like the Tensor G1, which was much slower than even the Exynos, and Diablo had high resolution, high settings available, and it was working
Kind of
really
crazy.
fine. And even yeah, and even the Apex Legends mobile, I remember trying it, was working much better on the Tensor G1 than on Exynos 2200. And I think that Exynos wouldn't be so bad if it was the only chip used by
That's what it
Samsung
should be
devices.
doing. That's what they should be
If
doing. Yeah.
every Samsung was like equipped with Exynos, it would be much better because developers would need to optimize for this chip. Right now, they don't have
I
to
think they want
because the
to.
most like
I
influential
think they
market
want
is
to, but they at the same time they just know that it's not
if they
quite good
wanted
enough.
to, they would have.
I don't know.
It.
I
I
think they
mean, I
do.
think
I
it
think they
is.
do want to. I think
I think it is good
that's
enough,
the end
but
goal. I mean, if they find this year that actually it reviews quite well, I reckon next year they end up shifting fully to Exynos. That'd be a very interesting move. I
mm,
mean, it's highly unlikely, but
I
because I
think
feel like Snapdragon's still going to be like it's still going to be the SoC to have, and
yeah,
they've got to have it in the Ultra. They've got to have it in the Ultra either
yeah,
way because they just need the best chip in
yeah.
that phone.
I was yeah, I was so mad because the S22 Ultra wasn't cheap, and it
No,
was the worst flagship device I've ever had. It was the worst experience, and I remember waiting for every update, hoping that this update will fix something. And I remember that it was like May or something. They really dropped an update that helped things, and the DOS itself was working much
mm,
better. But then in June they like messed it up again, and I think that they fixed it around September a bit and October, but it was like on the verge when I was selling mine, so I wasn't able to see how it worked. But for like 7 months after release, it was a total disaster.
yeah.
Samsung R&D funds 1%. I mean, I don't believe so. I think that they are
They do a
doing
lot.
a
They
lot
do a
of
lot of
stuff,
research
but
and development. To be fair,
yeah,
just to quickly go through some of the comments there.
yeah,
Jermaine's a
I don't
legend
know much.
because
Sorry.
he's done a little super chat. Thank you very much, mate. Your sacrifice for your sacrifice on the Sony side. Now my wallet is empty. Uh,
Your wallet hates you, but we love you.
Don't put that blame on me. Don't put that blame on me. You spent 875 on the S24. Well, thank you very much, mate. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. This is also an interesting point as well that Jermaine made. XNL's wondering about camera difference because of different processing, because we've seen that before when we had Snapdragon Ultra and XNOS Ultra with that S22 range. There
Yeah,
was differences in the processing, and actually sometimes the
yeah,
XNOS look better. So it'd be interesting to sort of see how that affects things, especially with has
yeah.
the S24 and 24 Plus changed anything on the cameras at all?
I don't believe they
So it would
did.
be interesting
I
then to
believe that they
compare to
have
a
the same
23
cameras.
and just see if there's any processing difference there. I would think. I mean, obviously the
Well,
Snapdragon would make
the
some difference as well compared to last year's Snapdragon, but
yeah, because there is, I mean, there are S24 and S24 Plus with Snapdragon and Exynos, so
well, that's
there
true. Yeah, that
could
is
be like
true.
a comparison. But yeah, there is a different ISP in Exynos, and I remember that even when I was watching like camera comparisons and looking what my S22 Ultra was doing, I was like, how are they getting those results? Because like the image clarity was much worse on the Exynos, and the biggest Achilles heel was the video stabilization. The video
Mm,
stabilization was like 2 leagues behind Snapdragon. And there is a guy, Golden Reviewer.
yes.
I believe you know him. I like his videos. He's like very precise, and he was doing, for example, video camera comparisons during night, and the difference between S22 Ultra Snapdragon and S22 Ultra Exynos was like two completely different devices.
I
I was
honestly do
very
wonder
mad.
how Samsung gets away with it because I'm surprised there's not been some sort of lawsuit or something just because
Yeah,
there's been such a drastic difference, and especially when they're putting the X and X&Ls into markets where it's people paying more for the damn phone than in other markets, and I
well,
just don't understand how
you
nobody challenging on it. Like, how did they get away? Come on,
do
EU.
you know which market? You know which market is best known for like class action lawsuits and
Yes,
stuff like
that's why
that,
they
right?
get
The
all the
American market.
Snapdragons.
And yeah, and what's kind of fishy this year, at least in my opinion, I've been talking with Pete Madison, and he told me that even European reviewers got the S24 and S24 Plus devices with Snapdragon to
Really?
review.
That's
Yes,
interesting.
I know for a fact that I know for a fact that some Polish YouTubers have got the Exynos versions, but those a few guys from the UK, they got the Snapdragon versions, and this is kind of fishy for me because this is not the device that they can buy,
That's just not right.
right?
That is just, and
Yeah.
I also take issue with those YouTubers actually reviewing that device and not mentioning the fact that if that's the case, that they're reviewing a Snapdragon device rather than what these people will actually get in their phones. That's some
Yeah,
that to me is quite shady. That is quite shady.
yeah, it is.
Surprised nobody's mentioned
There
that more
isn't
because that should be absolutely blowing up. Um,
from the bigger YouTubers, the only one that I remember was trying to address this at some point was Tom the Tech Chap. He had even the videos when he compared the two versions, Exynos
yeah,
and Snapdragon,
he usually
and he
gets
pointed,
both, doesn't he? Anyway, and sort of compares and yeah,
yeah, yeah, he was pointing out some issues, but it was kind of a toned down a bit. But he was the only one that I like was able to see from like the bigger YouTubers. But all the like the big leagues, they're just silent about it.
that is just yeah, that's not
Yeah, just
good.
like Joe said, it wasn't mentioned on the
It
Unpacked,
wouldn't be.
the
It wouldn't
DSOC.
be.
Yeah, and even on the Samsung website, if you go to the
Oh
specifications
man,
of S24, there is no
it's
name
like
of the
just
chip.
oh
There is
this many
only core
cores. It's got
configuration.
cores and things. We don't
Yeah,
have a name for it.
yeah.
It's just
Hmm.
cores and
Shite.
clock speeds. Oh, got to mention the clock
Hmm.
speeds. The speed of the clocks.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's clearly like they are trying to hide
Yeah,
something
I
from people.
really dislike that. And you can guarantee as well the
Me too.
adverts will be a little bit misleading. Um, and you know, it also comes back to the fact that I still take issue with the fact that the Ultra is called the Ultra when it's actually a Note. It's not an S series device. It is just not an S series device at all. It's a completely different category of phone. You know, it's a productivity based device, right?
It
It's
is.
productivity based and it's got the best cameras on it. The S24 and the S24 Plus are totally different for me. That's how I see it. And people will just think it's an S24, so yeah. Great.
You could actually argue that if they put the times lens in the S24 Plus, it could be called S24 Ultra.
And
And
that's why, Joe. That's why they've not mentioned Snapdragon as well, is because they've split it all
mhm.
this year. So they can't promote it if they're not actually putting it in all the devices.
I'm
They
wondering,
could for the Ultra. They could for the Ultra because there is for the Ultra, but the show was showing the S24 range, and again, it's a different category of phone. That's why they're giving it the Snapdragon and they're putting the Exynos in the other phones because they think, oh, the people, the ones that are slightly less well off peasants can buy the
mhm.
S24 range and they'll get an Exynos, but they won't know it's in there because they don't know what they're buying. So it's fine. We'll get away with
Yeah,
it. I just
I'm
think it's
just
shady.
I'm just wondering, will the same AI features work the same
Well, this
on the
is
Exynos and on the Snapdragon? Because there was like a lot of talk that Snapdragon is implementing those AI features within the chip, right? But Exynos, I don't believe it did. So I'm wondering if S24 and S24 Plus Exynos based will have the same AI features, the same feature range as the Snapdragon based
I
devices.
think they
I
will
guess
for a
we'll see.
while, but then it depends on the complexity of the features that come along. It's
Hmm.
also going to depend on RAM capacities as well,
Yeah.
which I think some gadget guys mentioned it on their best of the week show. It was mentioned the fact that some of the phones coming out are coming out with like 16 gigs, 24 gigs of RAM and stuff, like OnePlus,
Hmm.
and a phone like an S24 Ultra with 12 gigs of RAM is sort of on the edge of what's sort of okay for AI features and things going forward. So if you imagine 2, 3 years down the line,
Hmm.
it could struggle quite a
Yeah.
bit. I mean, there's even rumors at the minute of like Microsoft saying that laptops are going to have a certain amount of RAM to be able to run certain AI features going forward as well. So the specs are going to need to increase quite a bit
Hmm.
over time. And I think these phones are going to start to struggle fairly quickly on the AI front, to be honest.
Yeah.
Especially like the Pixel 8 Pro. I think that's going to struggle. I think it will struggle, but
It will.
yeah.
It will.
But I think the Samsung will be in a similar position.
Hmm. Especially given the fact that they want to launch those LLMs, those large models on device without
Mm,
internet connectivity. So I guess that RAM capacity might be okay for now, but in like 2, 3
yep,
years, it might struggle, especially
yep.
given the fact that they are now having like 7 years of upgrades, OS updates.
That's
So
the thing.
we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And Jermaine, they're mentioning that. I mean, we spoke about this as well. I think the other day, and it did say in the small print that the AI features will be free until the end of 2025. Was it or something? Two
Hmm.
years. So
Yeah.
at some point, you will have to pay for these things because they're very cloud heavy processors. So
I
they're wanting people to be able to, you know, pay this.
I actually think that right now they are not planning to put this behind a subscription wall, but what I think is happening is a bit similar as Apple did with the SMS satellite SMS, the satellite connectivity, which was also supposed to be like free for the certain amount of time, but they already told that they will extend this free time. What I think is happening is the fact that they simply don't know what would be the long-term operational cost for this for those features, and this is the fine print that it's only free up till the end of next year is like a backup for them to be able to do something if those operational costs will be too high for them to handle. But I wouldn't expect that they will really put some, at least some of those features that they've shown on the Unpacked event behind the paywall. I
Yeah,
don't believe it
I
will
think
happen.
yeah. Joe makes a point there that they put up a slide about increase in NPU, CPU. It's a bit like how Apple just puts up slides with very basic,
Yeah,
like nothing numbers on there. It's like, oh look, it's number higher than this number, and it's like, oh come on. But like
yeah.
increase in NPU, CPU. I mean, that's all well and good, but based on which SoC versus which SoC, like
Mhm.
are we talking the 8 Gen 3 versus 8 Gen 2?
Yeah.
What about the Exynos?
And what is
Like,
the efficiency cost, right, of those
yes,
changes?
exactly. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's all this stuff riles
yeah.
me. Um, let's have a look. What else we got? Yeah, Google One subscription based AI features. I mean, we get that now, don't we? We get AI features coupled with Google One. So like your
Yeah,
Magic Eraser and stuff, you can get on other devices,
yeah,
and
but
the like.
even on the Pixel, right? For the video boost, you need to upload the video to Google Photos.
Mm,
To be able to upload video to Google Photos, you need to have a Google One subscription, or at
yes.
least like the Google Cloud, which is like basically the same. So they are slowly closing this golden cage for us.
I mean,
Sadly.
I do as well. I mean, you guys in the chat can answer this as well. Would you buy an S23 or an S24 if it's basically the same phone? The AI features for me, by the looks of it, some of the AI features are going to be coming to other phones, older phones anyway. Because obviously, if it's cloud based, it doesn't really matter which phone it's on.
For the basic lineup, it doesn't make any sense to switch from S23 to
No,
S24, at least for me.
but then
If
would
I
you
would
buy an
be
S?
like,
Would you even bother buying an S24 if you could get an S23 that's going to have? Because I think the 8 Gen 2, by the looks of it, is more efficient.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. If the S24 and S24 Plus in our region would have Snapdragon CPU SoCs, I would just get the newer one. But right now, if they have Exynos, I think I would revert to S23 and just
Yeah,
keeping it for some time.
I actually think the S23 Plus is going to be a very good buy, and even the Ultra. But I think the S23 Plus for
Hmm.
people just wanting a bigger phone but aren't bothered about having something
Yeah.
so big and heavy and the S Pen and such. I think the 23 Plus will be a really nice buy.
Hmm.
Um, so
Yeah, exactly like Joe
video
said.
boost is limitation of 10 to G3 SoC on Samsung Node. We've got my other half in the chat just talking how iPhones are the bestest, and we should all just buy iPhones. So
Yeah, Jackie, we know that Dan is actually playing and he's the biggest iPhone sheep there is, and he's not going to give away his iPhone no matter
everybody
what.
knows this. Everybody knows that I am a complete Apple sheep,
Hmm.
and my upcoming video will prove that. So, I'd have Joe. I'd have the Snapdragon S23 over Exynos 24. I'd say, yeah.
Hmm.
I think even if you're putting in the uh 8 Gen 3 S24, I think I would still take the S23 because I don't think the battery size has
Yes.
changed much either. It depends on what.
I think if they both had the Snapdragon SoC. For me, it would just depend on the pricing.
Yes.
If I could get the S23 or S23 Plus much cheaper than the S24,
Well,
that's
you can
okay.
get an
But
S23.
if
You
there
can get an
wouldn't be like a big
S23 now, pretty
difference,
much new for like 600 in some places, maybe secondhand even,
an S24
like
with
new,
the S24 with those
refurbished.
freebies would be like very similar
That's if you want the freebies,
price. Yeah,
and if you can be bothered to sell the freebies as well, or if you have something else to
yeah,
trade in, I suppose. But yeah, it's it's a little bit complicated, isn't it? But I think Samsung do
hmm
make it sort of overly complicated for no reason. I wish they'd just like last year they went
yeah,
all Snapdragon on the S series. I kind of feel like if you're gonna put Exynos to some devices, just go all Exynos. Don't mess around. Just do it.
hmm
And then those
yeah,
optimizations for Exynos would be forced. Like people, they would need to promote that more, and it'd just be a better all round
yeah,
experience. And I think then Exynos will be perfectly fine. If Google can get away with charging over £1,000 for a Pixel 8 Pro, Samsung can get away with using an Exynos. That's
yeah.
my opinion on it. But
But what also has been in chat that the video boost is a limitation of Tensor G3 thoughts on Samsung Note. I kind of agree, and I'm really waiting for
yeah,
G5, which would be TSMC made. I think this might be a big leap for Tensor and for Pixels
I think it will be.
overall.
I think
It's
it'll be
going to be a big
massive.
leap.
I think it'll be massive. Joe also
Yeah.
said there that the thing about the unpacked event is that left me really confused with the lazy announcement of the ring. Yeah, you know what, I saw people mention that on Twix, and I was like, oh right, nice. I was actually quite interested. Um, and I was like, I'll just wait for more information to come out in the feed. And then it was
Mhm.
like, uh, nobody talking about this thing. Like, is there no interest at all?
Yeah.
And then I realized that no, there actually was no details. Nothing. It was just, we're making a ring.
hmm
We'll tell you some more details later. That was it.
Yeah.
So I imagine we're going to be waiting until the Fold announcement for the actual ring details now. And I wouldn't be surprised if they sort of
Probably. Yeah.
bundle it with that or something along those lines. But who
I don't
knows?
know. We'll
I'm
see.
actually quite
We'll
interested
see.
in it though. It looks something like that would probably be more useful to me than a smartwatch.
Especially given the fact that Samsung Health is really okay as a sport and
Mm.
health app. I think it's really good.
Yeah, I just don't like the fact that they hide features behind, exclusive features behind their devices and stuff. It's kind of annoying.
hmm
Otherwise, I'd use
Yeah.
them because they're quite good. Quite good.
Yeah.
That was Jackie's last minute pitch for Dan to keep his iPhone. Nah, she's got her own iPhone. It's fine. It's totally fine. On an iPhone 14. The wife's S23 flies. No real interest to her, but when she saw that ring appear on
Can
screen, she was
yeah.
asking me straight up, what material is that? Wow. Damn. That much interest, eh? They left us with the aura of the ring. Pun intended. Well played. Well played. I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
Very well done. So we're nearly 40 minutes in. All we've spoken about is S24. But it has, it's been the topic of the week. It has been the topic of the week.
Yeah.
Should we sort of segue onto the I like how you had it ready as well. Like,
Exactly.
oh, we're in sync.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Pixel,
We are. Great minds
yeah, the
think alike.
Pixel 8 Pro, which, funnily enough, so when I got my iPhone 3 months ago, and then I went to EGX in London, I met Mac in person for the second time. Sorry, second time. But we had
Yep.
a fun day hanging out. Actually, it was really good. Because first time
Yeah. It
round,
was
it was just a
awesome.
very brief encounter, but he had the iPhone 15 Pro Max, I believe, and he had the Pixel 8 Pro as well.
Yes.
It made me very, very jealous. because I then realized very quickly that I actually wanted the Pixel 8 Pro, but I had the iPhone for 3 months, and I was literally like 2 days in, so I was like, okay, I'm in this for a while. So 3 months later, I've got mine. Mac had already got rid of his, and just through me talking about it and posting about it, he's then decided that he needed it again. So he got one.
And I've actually decided that it might be a good time to part ways with the S23 Ultra after a year before the next one really like drops, because the S23 will drop in price. And yeah, I decided to give the Pixel another try, because I was so sure that when I got it just after release, that it will stay as my main phone, and I got the iPhone just to like, okay, let's try it. And I was really positively surprised by the iPhone, and I was kind of a let down by the Pixel. I remember even this was our first or our second show back on Twix, when I've dropped my hot take that the biggest disappointment of the year for me would be the Pixel 8 Pro. And
And then come
yeah,
2024,
things yeah,
you
things
bought it again.
stabilized
That's it's
a
the
bit.
true sign of addiction.
Yeah, but yeah, and it's kind of interesting because I love the pixel camera
This is it.
experience, and I'm the guy who uses all the small feature that Google gives us, like the long exposure, reaction pan, or the astrophotography. I believe that the Pixel has the best astrophotography mode, and I really like those. I believe that within one camera app, which is very important, you have all
Very.
the creative tools that you might need. And I was so tired of jumping between like stock camera, Gcam, expert raw, depending on what type of shot I wanted to take. That it is like a breath of fresh air to have like one camera app when I can easily do everything. But even now, after those like 3 months and getting the Pixel again, I think that camera is the best out of all three, which is the S23 Ultra and iPhone and Pixel. Yet, I feel that as a overall device, this is kind of a downgrade from this. Not even when it comes to like having or the boxy or the rounded design, but for example,
Oh,
speakers.
100%.
Speakers are
Like the
much
S23
better.
Ultra speakers
Yeah,
are excellent. They are excellent.
and they were. I mean, the iPhone speakers were even much better than
15 Pro is
the
good as well.
Ultra, which puts the Pixel in a really
I think for me, it puts the
weak position
Pixel
here.
in sort of fourth place as far as I can tell. The
Mhm.
Xperia is also very, very good on audio, on speakers. So,
Yeah, like the screen, right? The Pixel 8 Pro has a flat screen and a very bright screen, but to be honest,
mhm.
I'm not feeling that this screen is in any way better than this one, than the one
No.
from Samsung. And Samsung Auto Brightness is working much better than Pixel Auto Brightness. And the camera, not camera, sorry, the battery efficiency. I know that Pixel needs some time to like stabilize, but
Yep.
it won't be even close to what S23 Ultra could
No.
offer. So camera wise, it's much better, much more stable and predictable. But overall, the device itself, I believe that this Samsung is on a higher tier right now. And what I found really hard that I had to pay up for the Pixel like 1,060 pounds, right?
Yep.
It's, to be honest, and I wouldn't have got it if
Yeah.
I had to pay the default price.
No, I agree. I mean, I got it with £100 off as well. So, so I took it down to 949 for the 256 gig model. So,
Mhm.
This is a long-term purchase for me though, so it's YouTube content and everything else. But
Yeah.
I love using Pixels anyway, and I think it's just a really good base device to compare things against on the
Hmm.
camera front.
Yep.
But all those things you said are right. I mean, the 23 Ultra is built like a tank.
Hmm.
It's so solid, and it feels very similar to how the iPhone feels. The iPhone 15 Pro feels solid as well.
Hmm.
Whereas the Pixel, there's just I don't know what it is. It's like it feels more. And people have said it before when they said they had issues with the screen where it felt like it were a bit hollow when they were typing and things like that. And
Hmm.
like the phone does feel less substantial. It might
Even
be a weight issue. It might just be the materials. I don't know.
even the buttons. I
Yeah,
like how clicky, and I don't know
very
if
nice.
the mic
Yeah,
will be able to catch it. It's a
they're very good.
very subtle
Yeah,
click, while the Pixel is more like very clicky, and those buttons are much higher quality than what Pixel has right now. I know it's stupid because it's like,
it's
who
very
cares about
small
the
things,
buttons?
right? It's
Yeah,
very small things. Once you put a
you
case
put
on
it in
it,
case,
once you
but
put a case on it,
but the
it's
click stays the same.
yeah,
Yeah, and I was also the guy that used the S Pen a lot. Um,
it's another thing.
editing photos in Lightroom Mobile with the S Pen was a breeze, really, and a pleasure. It's much harder to like make a precise masking using only your finger. But yeah, still, I will stay with the Pixel. I would like to stay with it for like a year again,
Yeah,
to be able to like fully appreciate also the feature drops and how will it work in a longer period of time. And yeah, but camera is really great. But as a device, I think that if they are doing the price hikes, they need to try harder with the device hardware itself.
yeah. I think you're right on that. To be honest, like even the charging speed. I mean, the Samsung's not massive. It's not a fast charging speed compared to a lot of phones out there, 45 watts, but it still feels fairly quick compared to a Pixel. Like
Hmm.
it's Pixel's just so slow for charging, which is not really a problem. I'm finding because battery life now is a lot better than it used to be. I can get through a day no problem. So I'm not worrying about having to charge it throughout the day.
Hmm.
But interesting there that Ibrahim mentioned. I mean, we've been talking about the 50 megapixel shot, especially on telephoto and stuff, and how that slight delay that you get.
Yeah,
Um, Ibrahim says, just my opinion, but if Tensor had its own custom design on TSMC by now, there would be no processing delay with 50 megapixel shots.
who
Just my
knows?
opinion. And one thing that I sort of feel like they they should bring back is having the co-processor like they used to
Hmm.
do with the older Pixels, having that dedicated chip in there that handles the processing side of things,
Yep.
because that was so much faster. Like it was back then, it was very quick. I mean, you've got Vivo that do that these days, and it really helps with the processing of the images, even just how they look. So
But
I would
didn't
like them to do something like that.
isn't Vivo like stepped out of it? Oppo and Vivo, they both had their co-processor like Marillion or something like that. But I believe that
Oppo did.
they've
Vivo still
canceled
got
it
one.
last year.
Vivo still
Ah,
has one.
okay.
Yeah, they've still got a co-processor. So I can't remember what it's called though, but Barry might be able to fill us in on that one. But
Hmm.
yeah, apparently it's very very good. And I think Google, they've got that experience using that in the past. So I think if they brought that back, it'd be a really nice sort of thing to complement the Tensor and just help
Hmm.
sort of zip things along. Um, and maybe then we won't get that delay. Possibly, possibly.
Hmm.
It's difficult to know.
Yeah,
But
I need to do some more
if
testing of the
we
50
if we
megapixel.
had, yeah, I've got to do quite a lot more as well myself. Um, if we had the TSMC design, a lot of the issues that we have with Tensor, or pretty much all of the issues that we have with Tensor, would be gone. But I do think it would increase costs as well. So we would, if we get the perfect Tensor chip, it's going to come at a cost,
Hmm.
and people need to be aware that it will put that price up. Um, when it
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, I was just saying like yesterday that as much as the best thing of this device is the SoC, that the worst thing in this device is also the SoC, because
Yep.
otherwise I think that a lot of the shortcomings that it has would be solved and non-existent. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe we'll get to that with Tensor G5.
I mean, hopefully. I mean, G4 is supposed to be a slight refinement of the G3 again.
Which
So,
was slight refinement to G2, which was a slight refinement to G1.
well, I don't think G3 is a slight refinement. I think
It's a bit.
G3 is on a completely different node, I believe. I think is it 4 nanometer as well. So it's
It's hard to tell.
that's why it's
Hard to
better.
tell.
You think
It's
it's
hard to tell
difficult to tell?
performance wise. It's hard to tell performance wise because they blocked the benchmarks, which was kind of a shit move, to be honest.
Fair.
They shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that. This was a bad call, and it speaks volumes about them being sure about their own product. To
Yeah,
be
I think
honest, that
yeah.
was the bad PR
They knew they
move.
were going to get slammed in benchmarks regardless because Tensor is behind everything else. So,
Yeah,
rather than
yeah,
blocking it and making out that you really care about the benchmarks, why not just forget about it? Just let them people do what they
be
want, and
better.
just sort of say, well, we're not bothered about benchmarks because that's not the point.
Hmm.
That was the whole argument they were making before. So just stick to the argument, stick to the plan. That's all you
Hmm.
have to do. I mean, it has benefited them. It
Yeah,
has
I.
benefited them. I mean, Pixel sales are higher than they've ever been because
Hmm.
they've been able to keep the costs down. So,
Hmm.
it has worked. It has worked to a degree. Even if, the power
Yeah.
users like ourselves aren't completely happy with it. Um, Especially for the general users that buy them, especially like A series and, the base models of, say, like the Pixel 6, 7, and 8.
Hmm.
Like, those people are happy, generally quite happy. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah.
I see a lot of people in London with
Man, there's
pixels.
so many
To
about.
be honest, there's.
Here in the UK,
Yeah.
like I mean, every time it's funnily enough, like most of the times when I've been into phone shops, like when I've been into like swap my phone and stuff, the phones that I tend to see being sold are either iPhones or Pixels.
Hmm. That's
Yeah, I even
interesting.
went in one time and there was two Pixel 7As being sold at the same time. I was like, whoa,
Mm.
okay.
What I found really interesting is the fact that even in Poland, where pixels aren't like officially available, Google is not supporting pixels in Poland as it should, in my opinion. There is a lot of people with pixels, and there is a big group of users that are actively pushing Google to expand their support and their sales, official sales to Poland. It's a bit better late because you can like officially buy them in stores, but they are not officially sold by Google. But it's a bit easier this year because like Pixel 6 and Pixel 7 and not even mentioning the prior ones, you could just buy them from someone that smuggled them into the country, or from stores where there was like 30% price increase for them to like cover all the like future warranties and stuff. But still, there's a big group of people that uses pixels. Even given the fact that a lot of like network providers isn't supporting stuff like video voice over LTE or Wi-Fi calling, so it's a bit the device is a bit crippled. I'm not even saying about the Google AI features and stuff
Mm,
like that, because this is like totally unavailable outside the couple of countries that they officially sell in. But even like the network carrier features aren't available, and still people are buying them and using them. So this is a
interesting.
good prognostic. Yeah.
Yeah, Ibrahim mentioned there about the co-processor that exists before his Pixel neural core is already incorporated in Tensor, which technically it is, but
Hmm.
I haven't really seen that to be benefiting or working in any way sort of that's sort of shows you that there's a benefit to it. Like, you don't really see a benefit to it. It takes ages to process images, and it has done since we got Tensor. Whereas if you get a Pixel 4 XL, like that thing was an absolute beast for like crunching like video editing and things like that because
Mhm.
of having that co-processor. Like, I still think there's something they could do with that
Mhm.
to just make it work better.
Yeah, but the big upgrade with the 8 line that I was able to find today is the change in the processing when it comes to skin tones indoors with artificial lighting. I'm sure
Mm,
that you remember those horrendous Pixel 6 and 6 Pro issues that when you took a photo, it looked great, it looked okay, but after 2 or 3 seconds, when the processing
yeah.
kicked in, it was
Still see it
terrible.
when I take a picture now. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was terrible, and the only way to like avoid it was to shoot raw and just edit by yourself. I've done some testing today. I've taken a few photos of my daughter. It was like totally dark outside. It was indoors with some like artificial lighting, and I was taking both JPEGs and RAWs, and the difference between them is really small. Like now, there's like a bit of a fill light put in there, but the horrendous processing that they had in Pixel 6 and 7, frankly, to be honest, is mostly gone. So
Mm,
for me, right now, the only processing that they need to work on is to refine the portrait mode because it still lags behind both Samsung and the iPhone.
yeah, I just have to say though, like generally, like the camera experience going from the iPhone, which to be fair, the iPhone has been pretty good. Um, like I've had some great images out of it, but
Hmm.
I feel like for the last weekend when I was using the Pixel for our trip away, like some of the shots that I got, I don't think I would have got them on an iPhone.
Hmm.
Um, to be honest, and definitely not a Samsung.
Hmm.
So just that ease of use is just it's just really nice to have, and pixel output is just so nice looking just on its own, even before editing. Like just the general images are just really nice.
Yeah.
And like you said, those 50 megapixel shots, as long as you've got decent lighting, just look absolutely spectacular
Hmm.
most of the time. So yeah, I've been really happy with it, and especially happy with that official Google case that I got from my good friend Mac with my discount. This case is bloody nice, by the way. I mean, what did you get? You got the Bell. Was it the Bellroy?
Yes, the
Yeah,
Bellroy
the
leather
leather
skin.
one.
Yep.
Whereas I got the
I
official Google one,
wish
which
that,
is
yeah,
matching chrome accents as well with the camera visor, which I think is quite a nice touch. Very good.
yeah. But this one also has the
Yes, you
chrome
mentioned, yeah.
buttons in here, which is cool.
Mm.
Yeah. I just wish that Google had all the colors because there was also like the dark brown color available
Oh,
on Bellroy's store and on Amazon, and I would really like that. But this is the only one that they had that was like black or blue. And for a
I was going
white
to say
phone,
you got the
that
white
was the
phone,
best
so it
choice.
makes sense
Yeah.
to do that. Um,
Even when I got the S22 Ultra, which was black, I've put a white skin over it.
really.
Yeah, I did.
What did I? Oh, my Pixel 6. I had the Seafoam phone, but like the
Mm,
good thing with that phone was that it had black rails. It was
yeah.
such a nice design, and then you could just put a skin on it, and it just worked perfectly. And I had like I think I had a gray skin on the back. It looked really good.
Hmm.
Mike
Yeah.
Peppertech, curious to know if any of Samsung's new AI features will be regional based, like Pixel features are, and some of the Galaxy Watch features are. I wouldn't be surprised at some point. There's going to be regional differences. It's going to be the same for
Hmm.
when Oppo and Xiaomi and come along with their AI features because they're not likely to be using Google's AI features. They'll have to probably use something of their own. And I would imagine that Chinese based AI features and things will be China only in a lot of cases. So we're going to get a lot of
Yeah.
regional differences, I think.
Yeah, although what needs to be like said about Samsung in terms of like even praising them is that, for example, when it comes to Google's call screening, live transcribe, and stuff like that, it's only available in like English and a handful of other countries and languages, while the S24 AI features, for example, like Polish language is totally included. So I believe that they have included all the countries that they are officially selling in, at least, well, maybe not all the languages, but most of them. They have much broader set of languages supported by those AI features that Google has, which is a good way to
Mm.
go. Google needs to expand both those languages and the countries in which they are having an official distribution.
Ibrahim has the official Pixel Blue case, and it's nice. Good man, Ibrahim. He had the
That's what
Pixel 6
downstairs.
Pro before, and did some great work with that 4X that you are a big fan of.
Yes, the best
Still got
telephoto
mine.
lens
Still got
I've
mine. My
used
bad boy
so
here.
far.
We're getting using that in a video at some point in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
We are at an hour. We've hit an hour, no problem whatsoever. We could have carried on,
Yeah.
but it's. I imagine if we'd have had the full squad here, it would have been probably would have gone on to an hour 30. I think with what we've been talking about, because everyone else has got different opinions
Easily.
on things as well. And I was very keen to mock Manos for saying that he was now going to get an S24 Ultra, but alas, alas. So just
Alas,
a
yeah,
big
we'll
thank you to
see.
everybody that's turned out today. It's been actually for our first show. It's been very very good, very active chat. Great to see you all in. Um, if you haven't already, of course, subscribe to the Bunch of Phonies YouTube because within the next 2 or 3 episodes, these will not be streamed on my channel. So make sure you sub there. We will still stream over to X as well if you feel like watching there, because we
Mhm.
can still see all of the comments as well. And yeah, it's been good fun. You had fun, Mac. You had good fun.
It was.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like you said, we could like carry for another hour easily, but that just us. But I think that yeah, I'm already waiting for the next show next Friday.
Well, we'll hopefully have a few more people next week, and yeah, get some different
Maybe
some
some
guests, maybe
guests.
some guests, some different topics, of course, and yeah,
Yeah.
should be a good year. We're gonna be doing this every week, of course, same time, 9 o'clock Fridays. That's GMT, UK time for those over the other side of the pond for the most part. And yeah, it's been really good. And as I say, make sure you follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel for the future episodes. And oh,
Yes.
I saw as I did add it as well. It's added as a podcast on YouTube, so you can technically add it on YouTube Music, I believe. I don't know how it works in terms of the whole podcast ecosystem thing. I have no idea, but we'll
Yeah,
work it
we have
out.
to go on. We
And
have to go on
Ibrahim just
Spotify as well.
yeah, exactly. Maybe, yeah. Get it all on everything. And Ibrahim to finish it off with a super chat, £5. Thank you very much, mate. You are a legend. See you next week, guys. Appreciate you. Have a good weekend.
See you. Thank you so much, guys. See you next week.